glitchy today. Looks pretty glitchy on my camera, unfortunately. How's the video and the audio? Just let me know. And let's get on with it. Here we go. Birthday live stream. I think it's the first one ever. So another milestone done. Boom, 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 boom. Let me get set up. Give me a sec. Oh, look at that. What a thumbnail. Can't beat a good pie. Oh, my word. Lots and lots of comments. Bear with me. Simon Roll, first in the workshop this morning. Simon says, happy birthday, Andy. No cake. No cake. There might be a cake later on. Who knows? See what Mrs. Mechanic has to come up with. But at this point in time, and don't forget, it's only 8:30 in the morning. And sorry, forgot to mention last week that the clocks change here in New Zealand today. So I got an extra hour in bed, which is really nice. So maybe a cake later on. Pete, good morning, Pete. Hi, Andy and crew. How was your week? Hope it was good. My week, I went up to, in fact, I've been away most of the week. Went up to Auckland on Monday morning it was. It all started pretty early Monday morning and had a couple of visits to do with 2 motorcycle shops on the way up to Auckland. And then took that ROV back to the surf club in the late afternoon it was. And then Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday till about lunchtime in meetings. Just really, really full on, intense meetings. Can't elaborate, but busy. And then Thursday afternoon, took the ute back to Ford because there was a couple of problems with it. The inverter for the 240 volt AC socket at the back. Steve gave me a hand to go through, from Simply Diagnostics. Morning, Steve. Sent through lots of information about how to reset the inverter should some buffoon have plugged something in that draws too many amps. You get a little green light LED flash if it has a problem, and there was no output whatsoever. So I asked them during the service to check it and to reset it, and if it didn't work, to replace the inverter or to fix the problem at least. I haven't tested to see if it works actually, but they also replaced the electric window switch for the driver's door. That shows my age, doesn't it? Electric window switch on the driver's door, because when you press the lock button, you can still, regardless of the door, you can still open the windows. You can press the button on the door, maybe one of the rear doors, and the window will still go down. Obviously a fault. So they went, I'll just put the switch, shoot the parts cannon as always. I says, are you sure? Because if it's not the switch, you're not charging me for it. And sure enough, I tested it on the way home, and still works just fine. As in, it doesn't work. The windows still go down when you try to disable them using the disable button on the driver's door. Bit of a problem when I have Team Dog in the car, because she likes to stand on the armrest of the door and sometimes lets the window down, which means that Team Marmite could exit vehicle at any point, which is bad, really bad. So I need to go back to them again and say, hey, it wasn't the switch, and no, you're not charging me for it, and now you need to diagnose the fault like you should have done in the first instance. Sometimes you can tell them, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, can you? So still a problem. It's not a major problem, but that's the way it is. And then on Thursday night, I had to load the little trailer onto the big trailer, and both were around the back. And the warehouse was really busy. All the forklifts were in use, so I couldn't use one of those. So I had to use a couple of ratchet straps as like a mini winch system to get the trailer onto the trailer. Absolute ball ache. Got some blisters, which is nice, that they'll fix. I think there's one. Where is he? There he is. He's sort of almost fixed now. You can't see it on camera. There's one there. Oh, you can see that one probably. It's a bit black. Maybe I'll look. So yes, that was immense amounts of fun. Probably about 30 cycles of the ratchet straps to get it up on the trailer, but we got there. And then brought Tool Girl Lilli's bike back, which was up in Auckland. Brought that back, so that's here now as well. So the workshop is incredibly full on an evening. And Friday was spent doing nothing but admin work, absolutely cranking it out. Very, very busy at the moment. Just basically, we've had quite a few changes in the network, additional motorcycle shops, which adds to my workload, and it also changes how I do my routes, to go and visit a number of motorcycle shops in any given week. Because you try and minimize travel time, you try and minimize cost. There's quite a few aspects that you've got to consider. And of course, from a health and safety perspective, we're not officially supposed to do any more than 8 hours work a day if it involves driving as well. And of course, most of my time is spent driving. So I've been sort of doing the number crunching and coming up with different ways of doing stuff. And I'm pretty much sure I've sorted it out, actually. I've come up with 2 options, and it's for management to decide which is the best. Not for me, because I'm a menial person. Anyway, so where do we get to? So that's my week in a nutshell. Yesterday, we spent, actually, very good segue. Sorry, I'll get back to the comments in a second. This is on my list, so let's go with that one. Yesterday, got Mrs. Mechanic all set up with the sandblasting cabinet. Thought, hey, good to go. We've got some fuel for the enormous air compressor, very noisy air compressor, and got her all set off. And I was then going to go and unload the trailer with Trevor the tractor off the big trailer. And she came back and says, oh, there's no garnet coming through. There's nothing coming through at all. And it's like, oh, well, that's not going to work, is it? So I spent quite some time sort of trying to work out what the problem was. And the little nozzle, the replaceable nozzle that's in the sandblasting gun had worn really badly. I mean, the hole should be about 6 mil in there, according to the manual. And it was probably about 12 to 13 mils across internal diameter. So there's a huge difference to what it was standard. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's changing the amount of vacuum it's creating, to draw the garnet up. So I made one in the lathe, because I tried to buy some more, but they haven't got any stock. So I just made one up out of an old stub axle. I thought, well, it won't last anywhere near as long, but it'll prove the concept. So I made one up in the lathe. Oh, incidentally, I fitted the new switch. You can just see it in the corner there. Look. Fitted the new switch to the lathe, so that all works. And put that in, and it sort of worked a little bit better, but not really. So I thought, well, the problem is getting the garnet upwards, to the height of the gun. And of course, for some unknown reason, there's not enough vacuum to do that. I mean, I'm pulling the gun apart and looking for blockages, and we're taking the pipe off and checking that. And then I got hold of the vacuum cleaner. I thought, okay, maybe I can use a vacuum to suck the garnet up to the height of where the gun operates, and then the gun only has to draw it from the bottom of the vacuum cleaner into the gun. A lot less vacuum required because it's the same height. So I spent about an hour playing around with that, and that didn't work at all. It didn't work. I mean, okay, it did work a fraction, but you had to have the vacuum cleaner turned off when you were sandblasting, because of course it created a vacuum not just on the inlet pipe, which was fed from the bottom of the hopper, but also on the outlet pipe, which was feeding the gun. So the vacuum cleaner is trying to pull the garnet back into the vacuum cleaner, and the gun's trying to pull it down through the gun. So, they had a tug of war, and it wasn't working. Turned the vacuum cleaner off, and it sort of worked a little bit better, but not really. So, there I am sort of pondering what's going on, and Mrs. Mechanic goes, it says on the side of this cabinet that you should only have up to 15 pounds of garnet in it. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound very much. That doesn't sound like what the guy told me when I bought it. And the guy told me when I bought it, he says, oh, you'll need about 6 bags. So, okay, I bought 6 bags with it. And I actually, even though we're on new garnet now, I'd put 6 bags of garnet in. And I think they're about 20 kg bags. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's got too much garnet in there. And that sort of makes sense, because as the garnet's sort of, there's a big, deep depth of garnet in the hopper. The vacuum is almost going to be sucking in against a dead end. It's not going to be able to create any kind of flow. So I said, right, good point, Mrs. Mechanic. I believe you've got a point there, and we need to follow it through. So we put the whole thing back to standard and took out all the garnet, weighed, I think, like 7 kgs, which is almost the equivalent, and put that in and tested it. And it worked brilliantly. It worked better than it's ever worked before. For about half an hour or so, maybe 15 minutes. No, maybe 15 minutes. And then Mrs. Mechanic said, it stopped again. There's no more garnet. So I got the torch, peeked through the mesh, and there was no garnet around the, what do they call it? I don't know, the bit at the bottom, the metering valve. There was no garnet around the metering valve. It was just all on the sides of the machine. So we put a little bit more in, maybe about another 2 kgs. And then it worked fine. No problems at all. And then we ran out of petrol. So that was the end of that for the day. But well done, Mrs. Mechanic. You have solved the problem of the sandblasting cabinet, and now it works brilliantly. So she's a smart cookie, is Mrs. Mechanic, and you know, she read the instructions. I didn't read that little bit, and I just went on what the guy said, 6 bags. Now, sure enough, maybe you meant you need to buy 6 bags, but not put all of it in the machine at once. So that was my error. So yeah, I'm a dumbass sometimes. But anyway, works great now. Mrs. Mechanic's very happy. And when we get some more petrol, we'll be good to go. Right, we have lots and lots of comments. Let me crack on with these again. So hopefully, Pete, that was a long drawn out one, wasn't it? Simon, I spy a 2-smoke on the lift. Yes, it sure is. Little Suzuki, what is it? It's a TF, a TF125. Classic machine. They don't sell them anymore here in New Zealand because for some unknown reason, manufacturers are stopping doing 2-strokes. Probably something to do with the polar bears, but they're actually a cracking little bike, as was the Yamaha equivalent, the AG100. Good little bike, made in Japan. Awesome, as is that one as well, actually, I believe. And this is the one on the hoist is the alternative that Suzuki offer to the farming community. They've got the DR200, which is what we did the trip on, and then they've also got this little 2-stroke one. And I would like at some point, if it's going to be possible, and I don't know how possible it's going to be yet, it'd be great to, when I do that one up, is to get that one on the road somehow. I do know one way of doing it. It's not entirely kosher, but hey, a government department does the same thing, so they set a precedent, don't they? So maybe I can just copy what they've done, and then we can do a trip on that little 2-stroke, which would be fantastic. I did get it running when I first got it. It didn't run very well, but I did get it running. So I think it needs a really good carb clean out. Maybe want, some engine work. I don't know yet. We'll have to have a look at it. Simon, 48 years. No, Simon, you are incorrect, but you are still a very good friend. Thank you. Because you're all trying to guess my birthday age, right? That's right. That's what was in the thumbnail. Guess how many years I survived? 48 years. Roger Heaps, is it the big birthday this year or next? Well, you've got to put a number on it, Roger. I can't tell you. You've got to guess. Mike Wiganski, I can't remember when I was 48. I can. There you go. There's a clue. 48 is in the past. Mike Bazanski, wonder if he got Mr. Rat. Actually, I haven't, because last weekend after we'd done the live stream, I didn't get a chance to do filming. There was a lot of noise going on around, people mowing lawns and stuff. And the rat traps are still on the bench, and I'm sure Mr. Ratty's probably had a few more nights kip and lunches in the drawers. They stink. They really. I'm staying away from those at the moment. So I've got to do that part of the video to show the condition of the drawers on camera, on the video, and then they'll get cleaned. So at the moment, I'm just trying to put it out in mind. Connor K, hey Andy, another complete orbit around the sun. Congratulations, have a pint and a pie. I will be doing that, Connor. Most definitely. Pie will be this morning, pint will be this evening. Right, Kill Switch, BB, hi Andy and crew, hope we are all well. Going to sit back now and see what the pie of the day is. Right, hang in there. You'll find out shortly. Let me just catch up with the comments. Kill Switch BB, happy birthday. Thank you very much, matey. Appreciate it. Richie, mate, good morning. Andy, happy birthday, mate. Very few of you are guessing how old I am. Don't be afraid. I won't be offended. Let's just go with it. JJ, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, JJ. Good job, matey. Jim K. Jim. Jim, we had a good long conversation this week, me and Jim. You've got to earn your pay. Yeah, I do. I exactly. Got to work hard, We had a long talk about it, me and Jim. Machine NZ. Hi, Andy. Happy birthday. Thank you very much, Machine NZ. Really appreciate it. I've been looking forward to today for a while. I know it sounds weird because, well, it is a milestone birthday, to be fair. There's a clue for you. It's a milestone birthday. Isn't every birthday a milestone, to be fair? I mean, by rights, and on your birthday, I often look back at all the dumb things that I've done over the years. Okay, the things that you've achieved, great, that's nice. But the dumb stuff, the stuff that realistically potentially could have rendered you not having any more birthdays. Now, most of those happened during my teenage years, but there were a few post-teenage, and I often wonder how on earth, how is it even possible with all those possible variables in there? How is it possible that I could still be here? And it really is nothing short of a miracle, in all honesty. It's pure luck. And I've always been told that I'm a very lucky person. So hopefully my luck won't run out for the next few years. Sheldon, here he is. Sheldon has been doing some phenomenal machining work recently. Very, very impressed. I think Machine NZ, you should make contact with Sheldon because he's a great guy on the machines, a very competent machinist, and I'm sure you get on very well together, to be honest. There you are, you see, yeah, team people together. You'll be able to talk the same lingo. Sheldon's way out of my league when it comes to talking the lingo of lathes and milling machines. I can sort of bumble my way through and make stuff that sort of works, but Sheldon, he's not just a league above, he's way up there. And the point is, he enjoys it as well. And I know he enjoys it. He almost looks for any kind of excuse to get back on the mill. Don't you, Sheldon? He loves solving problems. Daz, 323323. Greetings from COVID jail. Oh, that's not good, mate. Hope you're not feeling too bad. JJ, RTFM Andy. RTFM. What's that stand for? RTFM. Never heard that before. Don't know. You'll have to elaborate. Simon, can you not acid dip the parts to get them ready for paint? Yeah, this has been broached before. Probably could. Very dubious about having acid around the workshop. You know, it's pretty dangerous stuff, to be honest. There'd be a lot of health and safety stuff going on around that. I don't know about the fumes it might give off as well, you know, neighbours and things. And then you've also got the problem of where do you store it when you're not using it, because it won't be a small amount of acid because I've got a lot of stuff to dip. But you're right, it is a possibility, and you know, maybe. And that would all fall into the process of electroplating anyway, wouldn't it? I'm sure. So if I went down the electroplating route, then yes. We were able yesterday to tumble both small components for this this other kit that I'm finishing off, the suspension kit. So the only ones that need to be shot blasted or sandblasted are the large, long plates. You've seen them before, they're over there. So not too much work, but we could do with some more petrol. But to be fair, we burnt most of the day trying to work out the problem with the sandblaster. But Mrs. Mechanic came to she just read the instructions, which us blokes don't do very often. Yes, I need to learn more about that. Read the instructions. So Simon, sort of hold that thought. It might happen in the future. I am keen to explore the whole electroplating world at some point. I think it'd be really useful for what I do. But I think it would require a separate shed to have that kind of setup. So it's there just to be used when I need to use it. And then I would use it a lot more often. So it's worth thinking about. Peter Steer. Stopped for a steak and cheese at Bev's Delights. I'm going to pronounce this wrong, in Putaruru the other day. Very nice. I drive past there on a regular basis, but not had one of their pies yet. So maybe I'll call in and grab one next time I'm going through. Thank you, Peter. John Dwyer, happy birthday, mate. 48th. Cool. You're my friend as well. I like that. Tom H, happy birthday, mate. Have a good day. Come on, Tom, you got to guess the age. Pete, two-stroke smoke, and we'll end the world. I don't think they will, in all honesty. Yes, they contribute a little bit, but there's a lot of lawnmowers and what we call strimmers or weed whackers or whatever you want to call them around the world. A lot of chainsaws, a lot of two-stroke chainsaws out there. I think there's a lot of other problems. I think, little two-stroke farm bikes are not really the end of the world. But yes, they all contribute, don't they? But let's face it, there's a lot more electric cars on the road now than there used to be. So doesn't that give us a bit more capacity to have two strokes back? Just thinking. Vijayant. Oh, recognize that name. Happy birthday, Andy. Big 50. Ooh, Enjoy your day. Pete, 50. John Tyson, 51. Machine Z, 49. Good friend. Kill Switch BB, 51. Kill Switch, you... Yeah. Yeah, okay, 51. Bit high, mate. Bit high, but not far off. Not far off. John Dwyer, 49. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Tom H, not a day over 50. Correct. I am today 50 years old. Half a century. How is it possible? There you go. Sheldon Rush. Happy half century, matey. Thank you, Sheldon. Appreciate it, matey. Here we go. Roger Heaps was at a testing station yesterday, Wharf Place. The lady was saying to VIN a car has gone from $600 to $800, which is about right, to $3,000 to $4,000. What? Second-hand imports are going to drop off, I suspect. Why would it go up so much? That is ridiculous. And I am going to do some investigation work around that because I don't understand why it would have gone up, you know, what, 5-fold, 6-fold, whatever it ends up being. That's a ridiculous price hike. I have a couple of friends that do the revinning of cars and motorcycles. I will be asking them what's going on. I mean, she works at a revinning station, but I mean, why would it have gone up so much? I mean, labour hasn't gone up that much, and it's really just an inspection. Don't know. Find out. Machine Z, 50. Thank you very much. I am 50. John Tyson, milestone. Okay, 50. Yeah. JJ, message retracted. JJ, what were you saying, mate? Richie, mate, 50. Correct. Thanks, Richie. Steve, happy birthday, mate. Just boarded the plane, Melbourne. Here we come. Safe travels, Steve. If you still got your phone turned on, because I know they tell you off if you're on the plane, unless you've got a posh plane, you've got Wi-Fi. But yeah, safe travels, and thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Do appreciate it. Okay, this message from JD is health review. It's not going to go public because, you know, well, there's a word in there which we can't show. But RTFM, read the flipping manual. Correct. There you go. That's why I didn't recognize it. Ari, your story on the garnet fill error. Yeah, entirely my fault. Put up my hand. I'm a donkey. We all make mistakes. Just took me how many days to work it out. Simon, the powder coaters I use keep the acid in plastic drums with lids that seal. They dip them in the same drums. They dip. Oh, okay. I can get those drums. I've seen them at the side of the road for sale, like $20 each, I think. John Nuttall, Kendall Boy is 60. Birthday. Get yourself a Langan motorcycle. I'm not 60, John. I'm 50. 60. I mean, come on. Do I look 60 years old? Really? Jeez. Anyway, jokes aside. Thanks, John. Roger, government trying to get old cars off the road. That is ridiculous. And it like you say, it will just destroy bringing in the second-hand imports. It really will. And I mean, you know, and if you let your regio lapse and you've got to go through revinning, is it the same price again? Which again would most likely just render the whole thing impossible. Does the same thing apply to motorcycles? Has there been a similar price hike? Because that's about the same kind of money to do a bike. It was to doing a car. So has that gone up to 3K as well? I sincerely hope not. Otherwise, we're going to see a huge drop-off on the old bikes getting the road again. And I get involved in an awful lot with that. I get lots of customers through work contacting me, asking me to prove IDs and provide history, you know, regio history of the units. You know, have they been sold or registered here in New Zealand before, or were they brought in as a parallel import, or that kind of. And most of the time I can help, and they're really, really grateful. Sometimes I can't, but I also have a contact at Land Transport that's really helpful as well. So yeah, between the two of us, we're usually able to help people out, which is nice, because normally they've spent a long time doing the bike up, and it's only when they come to start the process of getting it registered for the road do they realise there could be potentially a problem. They don't do it at the start of the mission, of the rebuild or restoration work. They do it near the end, and that sometimes is a problem, because they may not have bothered to do the restoration if they couldn't register it for the road. You know what I mean? Or they may have done it differently. John, Andy Mechanic, at 50, you are still a pup. I don't feel a pup anymore, to be honest. At 68 and still going strong here. Cheers, John. You inspire me, sir. I do hope I get to 68. Go away, fly. There's one fly in the workshop, and now it's decided to pester me. Now, John Nuttall, oops, 50. That's all right, John. No offense taken whatsoever. Machine NZ. Andy, what garnet are you using for the sandblasting? It was the only one I could get because I got it from ISL Industrial, basically 10 tools, because they had some redundant stock and I got it cheap. And on the bag, from memory, it had 30/60 on it. And it's sort of a reddy color, but that's all I can remember, to be honest. It's just garnet. Probably the wrong stuff. I don't know, but it seems to work. It works really well now. And I'm not too, it wants to be pretty harsh because they, that metal finish, you know, the mill finish on the steel is extremely hard. So it has to be quite aggressive. Ian Edwards, yep. Harley Ancliffe Arch, SDG. SDG. I have no idea what that means either. You'll have to elaborate. Simon, it's a cider today for every year. Oh, Jesus Christ, I wouldn't make it to tomorrow if I did that. I mean, I normally only drink I'm a lightweight, in all honesty. Probably, I mean, I've done more, but just a normal night out would be 1 or 2 pints. That will be it. And I say pint, they're not actually pints here in New Zealand. They're a bit smaller than that. 4, and then maybe a couple of whiskey and cokes, and that really would be a good night out. Anything more than that, and I'm just paralytic, and I don't like being paralytic. Strange things happen. I end up in weird places. Can't remember how I got there, and sometimes don't make it home. But that's all in the past. Let's not worry about that too much. Marcin, oh jeez, Wojciechowski, I can't pronounce that. Hey Andy, so Marcin, hey Andy, just wanted to thank you for the alternator videos. Thanks to them, I fixed my alternator by myself. Brilliant, Marcin. That's exactly why the videos went out. They also were very helpful to the students as well. That was sort of one of the things that I did them for. And it's really good to get the good feedback. I mean, those videos are pretty old, as you can tell. You know, I'm a lot older now. But it's really good to see them still being useful and helping people out. And that video still remains in the top 10 videos of all time for the channel. You know, it keeps rumbling on. It's great. Will I ever do another one like that on the alternators? I don't think I need to. I think that one's pretty comprehensive as it is. Vespa Mije, I think I pronounced it right. Happy birthday, watching from the Netherlands. Wow, all the way from the Netherlands. Cheers, matey. Well, hope you have a nice day as well, or a nice evening. John Nuttall, you can still have a Langen motorcycle at 50. They move your soul, I'm told, for a 2-stroke. I'll need to check those out. Lambros Stefanas, happy 150th birthday. Man, if I make it to 150 years old, I'll be a very, 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 very happy person. I'll be very old and probably very, very decrepit, but I'll be very happy. Roger Heaps, what's the pie? Thank you, Roger. I was waiting for that. Okay. Bear with me. I've got to do this properly now. Bear with me. I've not even had a cigarette yet. How good is that? Bear with me, people. This has, I'm sorry, but this has this. It's like an invisible flame. I don't know if you can even see the flame. Hang on, put my phone behind it. Can you see the flame? It is flaming, believe me, but it's almost invisible. What's going on there? So, here is my birthday pie. It is a steak and cheese, I'm told. Mrs. Mechanic bought me this. And it came from a baker's called Yo-Yo's. And it cost $5. Okay, so here we go. And they're all handmade, so I'm told. So we'll have a little wander around. So that's the... There you go. We'll get rid of that because we're going to end up with wax on it. I know I eat all sorts of stuff, but I'd rather not eat wax. Okay, so there's the lid. Boom, 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 boom. The top. It's got some markings on there, so we've got to put some potential points of thermal expansion, cracks along there, without having the marks, the cuts in there. Now the lid, it doesn't look too bad, the fixture to the main base, but we do have, I bring it round this way, we do have already some separation around here, which is bad. We know what's going to happen. When it warms up, that will lift and it'll compromise the structural integrity of the pie. We know that because we're pie professionals, or pie-fessionals. There you go, we're new word for you, pie-fessionals. Okay, now the base is pretty good, looks pretty strong. There's no cracks on there. Interesting to see how these lines here, probably from the tray it was on when it was cooked, to see how those affect the integrity of the pie once it's hot. Will it crack along one of those lines? I don't know. We need to find out. Okay, let's head over to the pie warmer and get this thing warming up, because I'm actually getting quite hungry and I could do with a cigarette. Right, turning you around. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Boom. Right, to the pie warmer. Oh, I really am getting old. Okay, there's the pie. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum. Right, pie warmer. Oh, look at that. I don't even need to move the angle of the camera now. Bloody good. Perfect. Okay, little pie. Birthday pie. 20 minutes-ish. Okay, back to the bed. I do like my cupboard. I know I keep saying this, but I do like my cupboard. I like it a lot. It works brilliantly. Well done, Andy. Oh yeah, while we're walking around, not too fast, Andy, not too fast. Here you go, look, that's what Mrs. Mechanic's been on with. Bloody good job. They're done. She only got a few done. They're done. They're still to do. But we did get all the other bits, which are, oh, you could probably see, I can't, down there, look. They're all tumbled. Came out pretty well. Happy with that. And yeah, shot blasting cabinet. Oh, there's a few more in there, look. I'm pleased it works properly now. I really am. I was very disappointed. Couldn't quite work out what the hell was going on there. What else? Oh, we're going to have a look at the switch. Here you go, look. Here you go, we can even turn it on. Look. New switch. Nice. And it works the other way. I am so happy. Although, to be fair, it doesn't feel as nice to work with. It's a plasticky sort of lever. And before, I'd actually had that on there, which was really nice. It was metal and it felt good, but probably chances are I'd maybe got a shock off it one day. But, you know, it's fixed. I have a lathe again. Oh, and while we're here, guess what? Here you go. Miss Forge. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Look at that. Very nice. Had to get the red tape out though, didn't I, Jared? You know about it, don't you? Okay. Laughing his head off. But nice ink, by the way. Good job. Right. So, sorry, Holly. Still number one. Oh, actually, Mrs. Mechanic number one, obviously. Right. Workshop. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to get into trouble now. Right. Mrs. Mechanic. Oh, turning around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Mrs. Mechanic is watching the live stream, so I probably will be in trouble later on. But hey, you know, credit where credit's due. Good calendar, Jared. Thank you very much. Okay, where are we at? Where are we at? So what should we do? Let's do some comments. So I can have a cigarette. Let's do some more comments, because it's your show as much as it is mine, don't forget. Really? Jeez. It's getting down, look, we've got 2 left. Ah, good job. Right, where do we get to? Where do we get to? Roger Heaps, what's the pie? We've done that bit. Lambros Stefanos, big smiley face, crying. Good job, mate. Marcin, and happy birthday. And guessing your age by the amount of wisdom, grey hairs, that's pure wisdom, that is, in your beard. I guess it's your 45th birthday, big heart. Well, it would be nice if it was my 45th birthday. I'd have won 5 years for nothing. But no, I am 50 years old. I can't believe it. Hasn't settled in. 50. Never thought I'd get to 50. So I'm very happy that I have. And I've done a lot of stuff in my life. And I'm very, well, most of it I'm very proud of. So yes, 50 years old. I have no idea what the limit's going to be. None of us do, but I'll keep on trucking. Keep doing what I'm doing. Ian Edwards, you're only as old as you're only old if you think you are. That's right, Ian. And on the inside, I'm still probably about mid-20s, in all honesty. Body, totally different. It's telling me all the time you can't do that anymore. Or if you do, it's going to hurt. JJ, where did you get the start switch for your Boxford? I got that from, is it J.R. Russell? I think it is. Let's have a look. I think it's J.R. Russell. Let's have a look. I know it's Russell Electrical, so I'll just do that, Russell. Russell Electrical. Boom. Yes, sorry, J.A. Russell Limited. They're electrical wholesaler. They've got offices or outlets all over New Zealand. And that one came from the one at East Tamaki, near to where I work. And they were super helpful. I took some pictures of the old one, and I said, I really want exactly the same one again, so I can just copy the wiring and not have to understand or even know what each wire is, because believe it or not, there were quite a few wires of the same color, which is never a good thing for me. So I was successfully able to locate an identical switch. And yesterday morning, one of the first jobs was to swap it across to the new one, and there was no smoke came out. It worked brilliantly. And I did take some photos of the wiring before I took it off. I could have gone one step further because the switch did have each outlet, each point numbered. I could have labeled the wires with some tape and some numbers before I pulled them off. But I just did one at a time, and I think that was pretty fail-safe. It worked out really well. There was just enough wiring to do that. And it was about about $138, including the government tax, the GST we have here, which, yeah, probably expensive, but hopefully it'll last many years and I won't break that one. Harry Darg, morning, Harry. Hey guys, how are you all doing since the last time I was on here? Since the last time I was on here, I went to the DR, found out I have stage. Oh, you went to the doctors and found out I have stage 3 liver cancer and nothing they can do. Oh, mate. Oh, mate, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's not good at all. Shit. Sorry, Harry. Ian Edwards. Sounds like me. Hang on. That must relate to a different one. JJ. Cool. Thanks. No problem, JJ. Simon. The buzz on the Boxford before you started. Has it got a phase converter? I don't think so. I don't know. I've never really delved into it, in all honesty. I never had to go into the motor area. I know it needs new belts, so when I change those, which really need to be changed ASAP because they're getting pretty tired, and it does have a thermal cutout built into the red and green button switches, the on and off switch, the panel to the right of the new switch that I've put in, the forward and reverse switch. It has a thermal cutout in there, and if I'm working the lathe hard, the thermal cutout will cut out. But I believe it cuts out prematurely, so I'm going to have to look at replacing that as well. I think it's got a little bit too sensitive, to be fair. It never used to be like that, and now it cuts out pretty early on. But I've got a way around it. I just get the airline and blow it in there and cool it better. Cool the thermal sensor down, probably a bimetal strip, cool it down, and off we go again. Yes, probably not the right way of doing it. Ian Edwards, lol. Mind young, body not. I know, tell me about it. So, I think I've caught up. Oh no, another one. Bruce Cleaver, morning Andy and crew. Happy birthday, you old fart. Yeah, well, I feel that way. Can you put Castrol R in the Suzuki, or has it got a weird coating on the bore, like my mate's RG Wolf 125? It smells lovely. I really can't imagine. It has got an aluminium casting for the barrel, but I imagine it's got a cast iron sleeve in it. I can't imagine on a budget bike like that they would even contemplate putting a nickel seal bore in there. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay on Castrol. Pretty sure, but I do have a few contacts in Suzuki, so I will ask them because Castrol smells fantastic, doesn't it? Very good. So it does smell good. I had a friend of mine, Paul, who used to have a 2-stroke lawnmower, which he ran on Castrol, and it just smelled. Whenever he cut the grass, man, it was just pure pleasure. It was great. So I have some Facebook messages to read out as well. So let's do those next, if I can get to them. Oh my word. Right. We'll start with the oldest, the one that was done first. Baz. Baz says, birthday wishes, Andy. Thank you, Baz Berman. Really appreciate that. Scott Kennedy. I recognise that name. I work with Scott. Happy birthday, Andy. Have a great day. Thank you very, very much, Scott. Appreciate that. John Tyson. Happy birthday. Cheers, John. I'll just like that one. Mike Bazanski. How's the leg, Mike? Or the ankle, should I say. Happy birthday. It's not the years, it's the miles. Perfect. I like that too. Brett Batkin. Happy birthday, old chap. I never thought I'd be called an old chap. I suppose I should get a flat cap now, shouldn't I? Matt McLaughlin. Happy birthday, mate. 2 beers. Cheers, Matt. Really, really appreciate that. I like that one as well. Good job. Is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It says 9. Hang on. I want all of them. Give me all of them. Let's go back. Right. Who else have we got? John, Mike, 8 friends, personal attire. Can't see all of them. What's going on? Are they further down? See more. I think we've covered them all so far. There will be lots more as people wake up, I'm sure. I got bombarded by them. I remember, oh, hang on, there's still more. Graham Shaw, Uncle Graham. Happy birthday, Andrew. Very formal for a Sunday. Thank you, Graham. Aaron I knew there was some more. Aaron McConneville. I also work with Aaron. Happy birthday, Andy Mechanic. Happy birthday, old timer. Have a great day. Thumbs up and beers. That guy knows what it's all about. I'm sure Aaron enjoys the beersies. He knows that I do. Coolio. Right, I'm sure if we come across any more, we'll read those out as well. But thank you very much to everybody that's wished me happy birthday, be it on the comments or on Facebook or probably through other portals as well. It's great to have the feedback. Do appreciate it. Pete, smash the like, guys. Thank you, Pete. Good segue. Simon Raw, seen Castrol candles on eBay. Really? Oh, that's just so good. So good. Somebody has got it sussed. There's obviously a demand for them. Great idea. John Nuttall, just a thought. The armature resin you got has only a 6-month shelf life. Oh, don't be saying that. You tell him I've got to get on and rewind my stator. And I've got everything to do it. I just haven't got around to doing it yet. And then I won't need to push the bike in and out of the workshop. I could start it up. That's the last thing it's waiting for as well. Maybe next weekend. Maybe I'll get around. Maybe one night this evening. This next coming week. I don't know. We'll see. John Tyson, daylight savings ended here in Canberra this morning. Currently 7:13 a.m. It will be, won't it? 'Cause it's 9. Yes. Geez, 2 hours behind. Sorry, mate. Very early live stream for you. Okay. Right. Next thing on the list. Mrs. Mechanic gave me a present. Now, before we tear into the wrapping, just to let you know, she handmade the wrapping. Now, she didn't make the paper. Okay, she didn't do it all from the pulp stuff, but she did decorate the paper. Because she's very crafty as Mrs. Mechanic, and she made this. I don't mean crafty as in naughty, I mean crafty as in she does crafting, a lot of crafting. So, let's find out what's in here. It's very rattly. I don't know what it is, and she's very good at taking things up, so we'll have to camera, we'll have to find out, won't we? What could it be? What could it be? I'm going to destroy the paper, sorry, hon. Oh my word. And she said you can tick this one off your list when she gave me this. So I'm not entirely sure what she means by that. Ooh, it's a Matchbox car. Hot Wheels. Look at that. It is. I'm going to take it out of the packaging. I know it devalues them to take it out of the packaging, but I have to take it out of the packaging. And it's obviously going to live in the glass cabinet. It has to do. But you've got to see this. You've got to see this. You've got to see it. I'll tell you exactly. If those that don't recognize it straight away, I will explain to you what it is. It's actually a very cool one, believe it or not, because it looks like it's like a Paris-Dakar style. This is a Mercedes, well, it's actually a scaled down version, by the way, of a Mercedes Unimog. Look at that. Now, I used to have one of these. I was not the toy. I used to have the real one. Didn't quite look like this, though. But this one is a long wheelbase. It's probably evolved from a U1300L, which was a troop carrier. They've got portal. Have they got the portal axles right? They haven't. It is only a toy. Okay, so they have portal axles front and rear. They have underneath. They have the prop shaft is inside a torque tube, and they have the clutch is separate to the engine. It has a prop shaft from off the crank to the clutch, and the clutch then down to the gearbox. I think the clutch is on the gearbox rather than the engine, from memory. But they are a phenomenal machine. They have air diff locks front and rear, and I think it was about a 6.7 litre straight six diesel. Mine wasn't turboed. Mine was only a U1000. It was a much shorter wheelbase than this, very short and stubby, but it did have a three-way tipper on the back. It was a very cool machine. I felt very privileged to own one, and I owned it for about 11 or 12 years. And yes, I got it stuck, but it was my own fault. It was usually quite boggy. That was the one thing, the Achilles heel of the Unimog was boggy ground, really soft, peaty ground, because empty, it weighed 5 tons. And it's still only got 4 wheels on the ground, by the way, not tracks, like a tank or anything like that. So, soft ground, it did still struggle. And its payload was 5 tons, which was pretty impressive. And it had coil springs all around, lots and lots of travel, and a huge clearance underneath because it had the portal axles. It wasn't cheap to run, to be fair. It was quite expensive on parts, and it had to be maintained regularly. Otherwise, you get catastrophic damage, and that would get really expensive. But just like the one here, look, it did have a hydraulic winch on the front. We had a big 16,000 pound hydraulic winch on the front, which was incredibly useful. And then on the rear of mine, we fitted a 12,000 pound electric winch, which we used as a tether. So if we had to park the machine on a really steep hill, facing downhill to do a recovery, we could tether the Mog to a couple of big trees to act as a ground anchor. And that meant that the recovery was really quick. You could whiz out the rear winch, a couple of strops around the trees and hook it up, take up the tension, and then you knew the Mog wasn't going to go anywhere. And it was a fantastic recovery platform. It really was. Phenomenal machine. And when we had the off-road centre, people used to really, really get very enthusiastic when they saw the Unimog doing recoveries. I remember one day I was doing it. I got a call out to this Land Rover group. There were 3 Land Rovers. I think one was a Discovery, maybe one was a 90, one was a 110. Let's say that's what it was. And all 3 of them were stuck down this really boggy track. It wasn't. I say boggy. It wasn't. It was just very deep in water, and it was quite undulating under the water. A lot of cross axles, and a lot of tree stumps and stuff under the water, and all 3 of them had got stuck. And they were about maybe 10, 15 feet apart between these vehicles. So what we did is I drove down. What did I do? Yeah, I drove down forward first because the front vehicle appeared to be stuck. His front axle was stuck against the tree stump. So there was no point in trying to pull him forward because it could have damaged the vehicle. So we used the front winch on the Mog to lift the Land Rover clean up off the ground at the front end, and then bring him over the tree stump. And then he managed to drive around the tree stump, or get one of his rear wheels on the tree stump as I pulled him over. And then we put strops between him and the vehicle behind him, and then that vehicle to the one at the back. I turned the Mog round, hitched it up with a strop onto the lead Land Rover, and then pulled all 3 out in one go. And they were just unbelievably amazed. They were so grateful I pulled them out, but the fact that I pulled all 3 out in one hit was just mind-blowing to them. They couldn't quite get their head around how powerful the Unimog was, and it really was a phenomenal machine. It never let me down. It did everything I asked it to do for me. We had some floods just down the road at, what was the place called? Hackness, down at Hackness. The stream or river used to run parallel to the road, and when it flooded, the road used to get flooded. And I remember going down there in the Mog because we had nothing else big enough to get through because it was very deep. As we drove through, and you can see, the height of the windscreen, the bottom of the windscreen is probably about, I don't know, about 6 foot from the ground. It's very high. You've got to climb up because it's a truck, basically. You climb up. It's about 6 foot high to the bottom of the windscreen. And I remember going through the water, and the water went above the bottom of the windscreen. That's how deep it was. They come with snorkels as standard, and it was bloody good. Ooh. We've got a call. Bear with me. Who could this be? Hello?
Good morning, Andy. Tool Girl Lilli here. How's it going?
Tool Girl Lilli! I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, what? It's such a pleasure to hear from you. What's going on?
I'm just called to say happy birthday.
Hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Tool Girl Holly's on the phone. What the hell? Wishing me happy birthday. That's awesome. And you remembered it was my birthday as well. That's even better. Because I think I probably forgot your birthday, right?
No, I don't think you did.
Cool. Are you still in bed?
Not long out of bed, no.
Oh, not long out of bed. So you would have been in bed maybe, 10 minutes ago? Almost. Yeah.
That's right.
I thought so. And it's 9:20 in the morning. Mind it is Sunday morning, so you're having a lie-in, right?
I'm up early today. It means I'm going for a ride normally.
Oh, good stuff. Oh, well, enjoy your ride. Are you going anywhere fun?
Going up to Waipu for a pizza today.
Oh, good job. Well, ride safe.
Will do.
Yeah. You don't have to be the fastest in the group. Remember that?
I know.
And watch out for all those nasty car drivers.
Will do.
No, listen, thank you very much for the birthday wishes. I really, really appreciate that. That's made my day, is that?
Hey, you can thank Mrs. Mechanic for that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I will. I'll do that. Excellent. There's things been going on in the background that I am completely unaware of. Super job. I will thank her for that later on when I see her. Yeah.
Awesome.
Brilliant job. Well, listen, you have a nice day. Enjoy your ride, and we'll catch up soon, eh?
You too. Sounds good.
All right, Tool Girl Holly. You take care.
You too. Bye.
Thanks for the call. Bye. Wow, Tool Girl Holly rang me up. I think Mrs. Mechanic had something to do with that, though, by the sounds of it. Good job, Holly. So, yes, Unimog, phenomenal machine. If you ever get a chance to buy one and you've got the space for it, I would strongly recommend you go and get one because they are a legendary vehicle. They really are. And I think the Unimog still holds the world record for the highest ascending vehicle. They took 2 Unimogs up some massive mountain range somewhere, and they managed to clip the altitude record for vehicular travel. I need to Google that and find out more because it sounds like an epic journey. But they're often chosen to be the vehicle of the ultimate expeditions. They really are cool machines. I'm a huge fan. And maybe one day, who knows, maybe one day I might get to go to the factory where they make the Unimogs because that'd be great. So if you work at the factory, or if you've got a mate that works at the factory and I ever get a chance to go over to Germany, I'll be there for sure. Now, back to the comments. Oh, ping! All right, 2 minutes for pie. Let's do some quick comments. Where do we get to? 2:15 p.m. in California, so quite a respectable afternoon live stream for California. That's good. Pete, Saturday. It is Sunday here, so yeah, we're in the future, don't forget. John Tyson, Unimog, you are correct. Pete, 4222. 4222. 4222. Hey? Yes, it is. Okay, it's the 4th. Sorry, it's April. It's always the wrong way around for those guys. April the 2nd, 2022. Well, it's the 3rd of April here, obviously. John Tyson, A mate has just sold his Unimog over here. The cost of parts here is prohibitive. The parts are incredibly expensive, and the only way I could have afforded to have a Unimog, and even then it was really touch and go, was because we used it for our business, and the business obviously paid for the maintenance. I mean, I own the business with Mrs. Mechanic, so it still was it was quite painful paying the invoices. A lot of special tools, a lot of specialist knowledge to do them, especially the portal axles. From memory, we used to do one corner a year overhaul, because there was always one that seemed to be playing up a little bit, whether it was leaking oil or a bearing had failed or what, I don't know. A drive shaft went sometimes. Used to cost us about £2,000 per end of a portal axle, and there's 4 of those. It did break. I broke springs on it. The springs are pretty expensive, although I fitted those myself. What else? Oh, we did a water pump on it. That wasn't that expensive. I think we put a starter motor on it. Never did any work on the clutch, just did lots of oil changes. And I also replaced the disc brakes. Now, the disc brakes are massive. They're probably, in diameter, probably about 14 inches diameter, big and very, very thick. And and obviously new pads as well. And on the front axle, it had 2 calipers on each front disc, not one caliper, 2 separate calipers. And it was an air over oil system, air over hydraulic system was the brake system on it. It was very, very cool. And the brakes, when they were set up right, were absolutely phenomenal. They were really, really powerful. Legally, it could tow 22 tons for a vehicle that only weighs 5 is ludicrous. I never towed that much. The most I ever towed with it was I had 3 Suzuki Jeeps on A-frames behind it. That was a regular occurrence when we were taking the vehicles down to the off-road site. I'd always tow 3 down with it. And that was never an issue. It only weighed about 3 tons. But then we had a ZIL 131, an old Russian military decontamination unit it was, big Bowser on the back, 6x6. And that was a big old V8 petrol engine, but it would run on all sorts of fuel as well. And going up the hill one day, that was following me up the hill, and that had 3 Suzukis on the back as well, on A-frames, and it petered out. It just stopped. Oh, I've seen the mouse. And it just stopped. So then I put a strop on the rear Suzuki. I know it sounds really dodgy. Good test of my welding, by the way, because I made the A-frames myself. Put a strop on the ZIL, and then the Unimog towed the 3 Suzukis up the hill that were behind it, towed the ZIL up and the other 3 Suzukis with the ZIL engine off. It wouldn't run. So the ZIL weighed about 6.5 ton, and then you've got another 3 behind. That's 9.5, 10, 11, 12, and it had 12.5 tons behind it going up the hill, and it weighed 5. So that's what overall 17.5 tons in weight. Yeah, quite a lot of weight to be fair, but it did it. Put it in low box, put it in 4-wheel drive. I know I was on tarmac, but I needed the grip. It would have spun the rear wheels otherwise, and it just almost set off idle. It didn't hardly even need any throttle. It was so low geared. It was fantastic. It had 16 forward and 16 reverse gears. Bloody cool. Where do we get to? Ian Edwards, she is watching the stream. Haha, she is. Mrs. Mechanic, well, she usually watches the live stream. And she likes to discuss certain aspects of our live stream post live stream, i.e., you shouldn't have talked about that, Mr. Young. That's all right. Somebody's got to keep me in check. Uncle Buzz, happy birthday from California. Is that Mojave Desert? Is that how you pronounce it? Mojave Desert, USA. Thank you, Uncle Buzz. Appreciate that. I've never been to the Mojave Desert. Audio Origami. Hi from Scotland. Great name. Hello, Scotland. Scotland. Freedom. So always gets me going, does that movie? Simon Roll, the starter motor must have been the size of a small bike engine. It was pretty big. It wasn't massive. It was probably in diameter, about that. So probably about 7 inches in diameter for the main, for the main field windings, I suppose you call them, or the magnets. They were field windings. And it was probably about 1 foot long was the motor itself, and then you've got all the other bits and pieces and the solenoid and stuff. It was bloody heavy. I remember that, trying to hold it in place and get a bolt through. It was ridiculously heavy. But yeah, Mike Bizansky probably gets some sweet deals on some surplus Russian vehicles these days. Unless they've all been stolen by tractors. Sheldon, I've worked on a Unimog. A high country station owned one down here. Bloody hell, Sheldon. Mate, you are the man. I am looking to buy another one. I'm still on the lookout. I know they come up every now and again from the military auctions, surplus auctions here in New Zealand. And I've also been told by a good friend of mine that Landcorp also owns some Unimogs. However, Landcorp, as we've seen with the DR200, they're not very good at looking after vehicles. So I would be very dubious about buying one of theirs. Probably would require a lot of work, and it'd be, that would incur a huge expense. The Army ones, on the other hand, usually go for used to go for about $20,000 a pop, and they're usually very well maintained. So the Army one would be the one to go for, I think, the ex-Army machine. Simon, Mike Bazanski, there's a load going free if you want to go and get one. Bruce, I've one of those one-legged cats for my grandson to open. I saw my first one, a Unimog, funny. I saw my first one in the 80s, a short wheelbase one. I saw a really old short wheelbase one rotting. The axles looked like they would fit a 110 Land Rover. Well, anything will fit a 110 Land Rover if you try hard enough. What was quite common is the old U900, the one with the very old one with the round nose. And they did petrol ones, those. They were a smaller machine, but still had portal axles. Those are the ones that I think tend to get used on the Land Rovers and stuff. However, just bear in mind, the prop shaft, because it's a portal axle, the prop shaft rotates in the opposite direction. So if you put those axles on a Land Rover, unless you flip them upside down, which isn't going to work because they're a portal axle, you're going to have 1 gear forwards and 5 gears in reverse. That might be okay if you're using it in a forest, but probably not so okay if you're using it on the road. So that's probably going to be an issue doing that. You'd have to put some kind of reverse drive system on there to get everything going in the right direction. But would suit a Land Rover very well if you can get beyond that bit. Audio origami. Hang on, Andy. Where is the girl? Where is the girl trainees? Well, it's a live stream. Very rarely does Tool Girl Holly get a chance to be part of a live stream. I think she's done it twice, maybe 3 times now. But Tool Girl Holly is up in Auckland and I'm down near Taupo. So, it just doesn't happen. May have some more filming in the future with Holly at some point. We've not really organised anything just yet. She's extremely busy just settling in with a new job that she's got. She now works for a major car importers here in New Zealand. So she's really stepped up the ladder big time with this new job. And the new job has prospects, and she's looking very long term with that role. So best of luck to her. I really think she's doing a fantastic job, and she's she deserves the position she's now got. She works very, very hard, and she's actually very knowledgeable when it comes to vehicle parts. She's very good at doing parts, Simon, 1 forward, 5 back, correct. French Land Rover. Right, let's go get this pie. I reckon it's ready now. Okay, turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Right. Oh, knees are getting tired. Okay. Bom, 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 bom. How's the pie? Oh, look at that. Looks pretty good. How's that lid doing? Oh, it hasn't ruptured as much as I thought it had. It's sort of almost filled up the gap, look, as the pastry's expanded. Right, you're going to have to be very careful how I hold this. Okay. Good job, pie warmer. Here we go. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, you get a really good view of the pie there, look. You see the little crack round there. It's not too bad, though. And we've got maybe a little crack down the side. I think we're going to be okay. Right. Great present, by the way, Mrs. Mechanic. It's all about the thought, and she knows I like Unimogs. So very, very, very pleased with that. Thank you very much. Okay, so a quick scan. The lid first. There we go, look. So it hasn't really ruptured or cracked beyond those markings at the top, which is a good thing. It's quite flaky pastry, though, on top. Interesting. Very different kind of pastry on top than what they made the base from. Interesting to see that combination going on. So it's not looking too bad, actually. I think we should be okay. Is that a crack? Not sure. Let's have a look. Don't think it is. It's just a mark in the pastry. It doesn't look like a crack. Underneath, flaky pastry. Again, looking very, very solid. So, just for those that have just joined us, we've got 34 viewers, 28 likes. Come on, there's 6 more likes required. This came from a bakery called Yo-Yo's, not too far away from here. Right, could be quite hot, but I'm going in. Now, the tradition is to start at any kind of crack, and of course we've got one there, so we're going to start the pie at that point to give it the best possible chance. This is all about good pie management. It's what you should do when you're eating a pie, is look for the weakest point and attack from there. A lot of pastry. Wow. A lot of pastry. Now, only had one bite so far, and we are starting already to get a bit of movement going on, so I'm going to have to be careful with this one. Don't want it to end up on the bench. I have cleaned the bench, by the way. It's all been brake cleaned and thoroughly, so there should be no ratty evidence down there, or residue. Okay, second bite. It is quite hot. Wow. Wow. Look at that for a chunk of meat. Absolutely massive. It's almost like solid steak. It's a huge chunk of steak in there. That's completely different to the gourmet pie we saw the other week. Honestly, this tastes really good. It's almost like a hidden gem. Who would have thought? Very, very good. And the lady that sold this to Mrs. Mechanic didn't know it was going to be put on a live stream. That was just a whole mouthful, just of steak. That is what a steak pie is all about. Absolutely brilliant. I think it's a steak and cheese, but I'm yet to find the cheese. Wow. It's right on the limit of being too hot, which is probably a good thing because it'll only get colder. There you go, look. It does have some gravy in there. It isn't just dry meat. So it could be a good balance, but we'll see. Structural integrity, it's doing okay, to be honest. I mean, the flaky pastry's all over the place. You really wouldn't want to eat this in the car. But it tastes good. It tastes really good. So, should really start to score this. Bear with me. Okay, taste, stroke, flavor, contents. Wow, tasted really good. Really, really good. I'm going to give it, because it wasn't just about big chunks of meat, it actually tastes really nice. Look at that. Very, very good, isn't it? I can just imagine you guys that are watching this on a big flat screen TV on the wall where it's maybe 5 foot across. That pie is going to be like 2 foot across on your screen right now. It's massive. Just tastes good though. I'm going to give it a 9. Should I give it a 10? It tastes really good. I like it. I'm going to give it a 10. A birthday 10. Structure fully partners. It's not going to score a 10, I can guarantee that, but because we've got all this flaky pastry that's just flaking off. So, but the actual structure itself is extremely good. We've not got any kind of breakups. We've got no cracks around the lid to the base. It's hanging in there really well. I'm only really holding it two-handed because of all the flaky pastry that's falling off. So, it's actually very good. I'm going to give it a 9. Well, no, I'll give it a 9 based on it only had that small crack around the lid, but we've also got the problem with flaky pastry. So 8, 7. It does make quite a mess. 7. Let's go with 7. Runability test. It is still very hot, so a good time to test this. Oh, pardon me. 45 degrees, 30 seconds, probably less. What's it doing? Is anything falling out? It really is holding its own, isn't it? So, you know, you grab your phone, busy talking to somebody, you forget about your pie, and you're not going to lose all the contents on the floor. It's good. It's really good. So runability is excellent. So it's going to score 10. Can't do any better than what it has. Gets a 10 for that one. Meat quality. It was phenomenal. I've already covered the meat quality. It was really good. I'll have one more bite just to check, just to make sure. But the big chunk of meat that I had tasted really good quality, and it was massive. So you've got another big chunk just down there, look, coming through. It tastes great. I like it. I'm going to give it a 10. I am. Pie to crust, sorry. So it's contents to pastry ratio. I always say it wrong. There is a lot of pastry. The first bite was nearly all pastry. Maybe that was just that unlucky part of the pie. There is a lot of pastry. We've got some huge depth of pastry around here on the corners, you know, or the ceiling point. The base is quite thin. The lid is just very, very deep in pastry because it's that puff pastry stuff. But the available space that they've got, they've put a lot of meat in there. So I think it should score quite highly. I think an 8. I think an 8 would be good. Because remember, the first bite was nearly all pastry and it was a fair sized bite. Now, availability logistics. These pies are handmade and only available from one bakery in New Zealand. JJ's. It was JJ's, wasn't it? Did I get it right? JJ's. No, Yo-Yo's, sorry. From Yo-Yo's bakery. So, you've got to go there for it. Potentially, if you live in Invercargill, that's a very long drive. Would you do it? Probably not. I'm sure there's equally as good pies in Invercargill. We've just yet to find them. So it doesn't score that highly on the availability logistics. One place in the whole of New Zealand, it only really gets a 1, doesn't it? Pastry taste rating. Well, I'm going to pull some more pastry off. Try and get a bit of the side stuff. There we go. Tastes good. Almost slightly sweet. Any weird aftertaste? No, there isn't actually. Okay. So, pastry taste rating, pretty good. 8, 9. 9. It was good. You can't hold back on the scores if it deserves it. Now, just a quick update on the pie. There is actually, because I like to keep you updated because things do change. We have seen some really nice big chunks of meat, and there's one there, look, as well. But this whole part of the pie here is sort of that gravy gelatin type mush here. So it's not just solid steak pieces. There is some sort of congealed gravy in there, of which that was an entire mouthful of. But it tastes good. It does taste really good. So, meat quality. How do I accommodate that in there? Meat quality. The meat is good quality. Could they have packed any more in there? Probably could a little bit, but I mean, then you wouldn't have got the taste of the gravy so much. So, now I think we'll leave it as it is for now. Packaging design. Well, standard issue. It's just a paper bag, isn't it? So not a lot of thought going into it, but that is traditional for New Zealand, for bakeries. Especially one-off bakeries. They tend not to spend a lot of money on the packaging side of things. But it's still just a paper bag, so the design, they only get a 1 for that. They haven't put any thought into it. There's no branding of the packaging, which is a bit of a shame, because if you make pies this good, then people watching the person eat this pie should see the brand of pie on the packaging, because then they go, man, that guy's really enjoying that pie, and he's holding his bag. You know, as you tend to in New Zealand, you tend to hold your pie like that, you know, around the bag. just in case you get any kind of leakage and stuff. And then, you know, the spectators would then see the brand of pie that you're eating and go, wow, he's enjoying that. I should try one of those. Oh, pastry. Okay, so recyclable score. Well, it is a paper bag. It is recyclable. There's no plastic liner to it and stuff, but they don't tell us it's recyclable, so they only get a 9. Pretty standard sort of scoring going on now. Pie server attractiveness. Jumping to the bottom one, while things cool down a bit. God, I've got flaky pastry all over the bench and the laptop. Mrs. Mechanic wrote a 6 for pie server attractiveness, so we'll stick that down there. So we've still got still tasty when cold. It's not quite cold yet. Post pie heartburn. Now there's been quite a few burps going on, so that might, you know, indicate there's going to be problems further down the line. And we've still got stuffability score left to go. And I'm really only halfway through the pie. It's pretty good. I mean, it's still holding its own. There's no cracks evident anywhere. It's quite stable, is the word. It's structurally stable, this pie, which is good. Excellent design. Another huge chunk of meat. The same size as meat that you would cut off a steak when you're eating a steak. It was just bang on. Another one. This pie just keeps on giving. What a hidden gem. And it's not too far away from where I live. Luckily, Mrs. Mechanic was going out that way. Very good. Okay. Stuffability score. I'm already filling up. This is very tasty and quite filling. I most certainly won't want anything else to eat after this. It's done its job as a pie. Would I be over full? I mean, normally the score is a bit weird on this one because if you're absolutely totally stuffed, it gets a 10. If it's actually just okay, it maybe gets a 7 or an 8. I'm going to give it a 9, and I haven't even finished yet. I think it'll be a 9 because I certainly won't want anything else after this, but I won't feel, you know, completely stuffed. I mean, there are bigger pies than this that we've had. Hang on up. One last look at the contents. It's doing well. I'm impressed. Mrs. Mechanic did a great job buying this pie. Another big chunk of meat. Really, really good. And for, what was it, $5, $6? $5. This is really well priced as well. I think given the large chunks of meat in there, and the really tasty gravy, it's really rich gravy, it's really nice, got a lot of flavour to it. And the pastry, it's not gooey, you know, it's got lots of flavour as well. I think putting the flakiness aside, and I'll show you the devastation on my workbench in a moment. I think putting the pastry side away as regards being flaky, because that's a whole different score. This pie is a great package, and I think it'll still be quite edible, tasty, pleasurable to eat, even if it's cold. Right, have a quick look at the bench. Look at this. Turning round. Boom. Look at that. There's just crumbs everywhere. It's just like a crumb holocaust thing going on. It's horrendous. Anyway, nothing that a good brush won't fix. But that was really tasty. But one downside, and we should really have a category, can you eat it in the car or not? Or car eating score. This pie, if we had that score, would score very low because your car would just fill up the pastry and it would just be terrible. However, the contents didn't fall out, so you wouldn't get gravy down your shirt, but you'd get lots of flaky pastry all over the place, which is it's not ideal for your car. If it was a company car, you got to be clean. It's not good. So, still tasty when cold. I think it will be actually pretty tasty. I didn't taste any cheese. It must just be a steak pie. I will double check with Mrs. Mechanic, but I think it was just a steak pie. So I'm going to give it big chunks of meat, very, very tasty gravy, tasty on the pastry as well. I would say it's going to be an 8. It'll be an 8 for still tasty when cold. Post heartburn factor, I'm doing all right, actually. I thought that I'd be, getting a bit of reflux and stuff, but there was no cheese in it. And I think it's often the cheese that causes that reflux. Especially if it's that processed cheese. I'm not very good with that kind of stuff. I'm feeling fine. And the burpees have stopped. So I'm going to give it an 8 now. Or shall I give it a 9? Difficult, isn't it? I'm sure you guys have got your own opinions as well. No, I'm going to give it an 8. There you go. That was the deciding burp. Okay, have we got all the scores? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All the scores are in. Let's have a tally up. Here we go. Turning round. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Lots of turning around today on the camera. Okay. So hopefully, we'll get you far enough back. You can see all the scores. You need to check my arithmetic because it's only fair. I don't want to put it up there and have it wrong. Okay, so we've got, oh my word, 3 10s at the top. That is phenomenal. So, very easy. 37, 45, 46, 55, 63, 64, 73, 81. That's right, isn't it? 81. 90, 96. So where were its big failings? Well, what stands out just as much as the big 10s is we had 2 areas where it only scored 1 out of a potential 10. If it just scored a reasonable score on either of those 2, it could actually have been our winning pie so far. So, availability logistics, it's only available in 1 place. Maybe they need to franchise or get it online, something like that. And packaging design, if they just put, just have the bags, charge $5.50 a pie if you want, but just on the bag it had the what was it, the Yo-Yo's bakery logo on there, and pies you can trust. There's a good logo, a good slogan. Pies you can trust. I know I'm going to get nice meaty pie if I buy from Yo-Yo's, anything like that. And then on the back, maybe just the recyclable symbol where you can recycle this because it's paper. They'd have scored a lot more. But even so, a very, very good pie. But it does show that these other aspects are very important. If you want to get the best pie in New Zealand pie, people, you need to address all aspects. And they only got a 6 for the pie server attractiveness. There's scope for improvement. There really is. They can do better than that. Hire somebody else. Right, where is the slip? There we go, the magnetic strip. Now, this was, I keep forgetting, this is from Yo-Yo's. Right, Yo-Yo's. And I'm just going to put steak pie because I didn't get any cheese out of it at all. And it got 96. Nice. A very respectable score from a single point homemade bakery. Very, very impressed indeed. Right, let's go and see where this ends up on the board. The board's getting extremely full at the moment. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Where's it going to go? Oh my word, hang on. I've got to try and squeeze that in there. This is not going to be easy. We're running out of space, people. Okay, I think what we'll have to do, just put your that out, look. I think we're going to have to move some of these across. So if we put that up here like that, on the cupboard door, in fact, will that go up there? It will. Look at that. Very smart. Okay, we've got to dig our way down now. Bear with me, because we've got a lot of these to move across. We're going to have to go like that, aren't we? They're just a little bit too long from this cupboard door. The door's still open, it's all right. We'll work it out. I'll come up with some ingenious plan. So we got 96, didn't we? We're getting there. We're getting there. There's a lot of pies. We've done a lot of pies here. I might have to trim these a bit shorter, I reckon. Right, we're almost there. 96, right, we'll leave that one there. So Yo-Yo's steak pie, 96. There we go. Brilliant. So, starting at the top. Atter's bar, not too far away. Chicken pie. Who would have thought a chicken pie is still the best? Crazy. Coming down, there is the Yo-Yo steak pie. And actually very tasty. I think we actually put, didn't we put something on one of these that said very, very tasty. Cheese, very runny. I'm sure I'll put a very tasty one. Traveller oblong. Very tasty, you see, Toad Hall. I think it needs a very tasty and value for money as well, $5. Let's go and find that pen. Not too fast, Andy, not too fast. Look at all those crumbs. We need to sort out the crumb problem. That'd score higher then. Okay, right, so luckily we've left some space for this. So it was very tasty. Oh, on camera, Andy. And good value. Cool, I guess it's an Andy tick. I like that pie. I liked it a lot. Good job, Yo-Yos. I'll be eating more of your pies for sure. Right, back to the bench. What time are we on? We are an, oh my word, hour and a half. What the hell? Turn you around, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Right, terrible camera work, Andy, as always. It's always difficult when you're doing live streams. Ah, that was a good pie. A very good pie. I keep going on about this, but it was a very good pie. Right, we need to go back to the comments very quickly because I always get told off by Mr. Mechanic not for not basically covering the comments during the pie eating process, the pie survey. I'm terrible at it. Here we go. Back to the comments. Okay, I do feel full. It was good. Where we get to? John Dwyer, pie time, correct. Come and gone. Simon Roll, 145, yes. The maximum troll. All the haters can something punch and some kind of parcel. I don't get it. I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. It's a different generation. Audio origami. Wow, looks tasty. Was very tasty. Anti-mosh, buy pastry pie. It was, good call. It was a buy pastry pie. Very different kind of pastry on top to what the base was made of. And that gave it, the base was extremely good for structure. And maybe the top, you know, maybe that added to the taste, being the flaky pastry, but it did not help in one way, or in any way, towards being eaten in a car. I wouldn't go anywhere near my truck with that pie. Buy pastry pie. I need to remember that phrase. Very good. Audio origami. Eat the meat. The meat was great. Really, I can still taste the meat, the steak. It was good. What's this? Some kind of notification thing. Anyway, anti-mosh, not the gravy pie. Not a gravy pie. No, it wasn't a gravy pie at all. It did have some congealed gravy in it, but that really, it was very rich and real tasty. It was nice. Anti-mosh, flaky pastry, not one to eat in somebody's brand new car. I wouldn't go anywhere near any car with that. Well, I mean, to be fair, I would have eaten it maybe in one of our old patrol vehicles that we used to use in the forest. That wouldn't have bothered me because they were normally knee deep in rubbish anyway. It was disgusting in some of those, especially Ollie's. Ollie's truck was just horrendous. You open the passenger door to get in, and like probably 10 empty cans of Coke or whatever he used to drink, probably Coke, would fall out, crisp packets, all sorts of shit would fall out. You'd spend at least 5 minutes picking it all up at the roadside before it blew away and throwing it in the back of the car. And that was a regular occurrence. Audio origami, Kilmarnock pies. Is this a top pie, says Simon. I think if you took away the availability and you took away the design of the packaging from the other scores of the other pies, you know, on the scoreboard, I think it probably would have come either first on, certainly in the top three. It was extremely good. But we've had some really good pies. That was a really good pie. We've also had some other really good pies. Not many, but there's been one or two. Nee Wisson, happy birthday, man. But you're supposed to get the present, not us. Thanks for another live stream. My pleasure to share a chunk, a proportion of my birthday with you guys. I think it's only right. You know, you're part of what I do and part of my life experience right now. And I enjoy it. And I treasure the time we have together. I think it's great. John Nuttall, Simon, it has to be his 50th birthday pie. Maybe I should write that on the slip as well. 50th birthday pie. And good choice, Mrs. Mechanic. Really good choice for a birthday pie. Not disappointed in any way whatsoever. In actual fact, feel privileged to have had that pie. It was really tasty. Clyde, happy birthday, sir. Thank you very much, Clyde. Right, talking of birthdays, back to the Facebooky stuff. I wonder if we've got any more comments. Hang on, bear with me. Oh, hang on. Oh, Kevin Barry. There we go. Here's another one. Happy, hey, Andy Mechanic, happy birthday. Thank you very much, Kevin. Kevin races with his son, I believe, the little sprint car things, you know, the little cars that go around the oval circuit. Really powerful engines. We almost used to call them stock cars in the UK. Stock car racing. Used to love to go and watch that as a kid with my dad. It's great fun. Have we got any more? I think that's all of them so far. Yes, I think that's it so far. I think that's it. I think we've covered all of them so far. There will be a lot more, I'm sure. Oh, I got a picture this time. Look at that. Happy birthday, old chap, with a picture. What a bloke. Thank you for that. Yes, we've covered those now. Excellent. Okay. Ed Foster, happy birthday, Andy. Cheers. And cheers to you too, actually. Thanks, Ed. And I'll give you a little cheers with my coffee cup, my cold coffee. Nice. What else have we got going on? Anything else? Jeez. No. Don't think so. Okay, sorry, I digress. It's always good to keep caught up. Right, so what else have we got to do? We've done Miss Forge. Very good Forge calendar. I like that one. Thank you, Jared. So what am I going to do today? Well, once I've cleared up all this pastry off the bench, me and Mrs. Mechanic have decided that today is not going to be a work day doing jobs for other people, which we tend to spend most of our weekends doing at the moment. And there's a lot more looming in the future. I've got another ROV to service. That came in this week. So I've got that to go and collect as soon as Easter is done. They said I can have it after Easter. So they were just scheduling it in, which was nice. They've got it scheduled in nice and early. Give me a couple of weeks' notice to plan my attack. Hopefully I can get that one turned around in one weekend, which would be great. So today we are going to do some more work on the fence. Now we've already got all the timber, and yesterday I found some Tech screws that I didn't think I had, which is what we need to use to screw in the upright. So we've got everything we need here on site to do some more fence work. The posts are already in, the vertical posts, they're already set in concrete. They've actually been in for about a year. I know, I'm terrible. So we're going to crack on and see how many sort of panels, I suppose you'd call it, sections we can get done today. We're going to get all the horizontal pieces put in. They're all bolted up. That's the first job. And then we'll see how many uprights we can get put in before the day ends. Don't want to finish too late because it'd be quite nice to play some games with Mrs. Mechanic. Wink, wink. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm sure she'll be laughing her head off right now. What have we got here? We've got Bruce Cleaver. Ari, the delamination of the pastry. Very good. I like that. Delamination. Good Eccles cakes have pastry that is folded 94 times. Samurai pies. That might help. That might help to stop it flaking away like that. I don't know. Eccles cakes. I've had Eccles cakes. They're nice. Different kind of pie though. Roger Heaps. Enjoy the rest of your birthday, mate. Thank you very much, Roger. Thanks for tuning in, as always, and stay safe, matey. New Zealand's going through some pretty traumatic times at the moment, although it's sort of not so much government control anymore. It's just suck it up, people, and get on with it kind of scenario now. So far, I've managed not to fall victim. Still staying safe. I don't know for how much longer. A lot of people around me now, I'm getting calls every day. I've been informed that the people that I know have caught the cold, and hopefully I can put it off for a bit longer. I've still got to get my booster shot though. That's the next thing on the list really, because I've got another couple of weeks at home before I hit the road. I won't be hitting the road till after Easter, so unless I get a technical call out. But no, it would allow me a period of time if I do get feel a bit under the weather for a few days post booster shot. It wouldn't really impact too much on my current duties. Bruce Cleaver, get Holly a Castrol R candle for her birthday. She'd like that. They're about £15, including postage, on eBay, or just sticks if available. Well, I could do that. She would really like that. I'll take a picture of that. Thank you very much, Bruce. Good call. These pictures do work. I know it's a really weird way of doing it, but it just reminds me when I scan through my photo album, I go, oh yeah, I've got that to do. I will do that, Bruce. Thank you. Roger Heaps, away on my mate's boat for Easter. Should be fun. It will be fun. As long as it's good weather, it'll be fun. If it's really bad weather, it'll be interesting and fun. And maybe hazardous, but sounds good. Pete, love the stream. Great birthday wishes to you and Mrs. Mechanic. Thank you, Pete. Really appreciate you for joining us. And I'll see you next time. There will be another live stream, as always, next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Guy Martin. We've got Guy Martin in the workshop. What privilege. We have Tool Girl Holly and Guy Martin on one live stream. Happy birthday, Andy, and many, many more. Guy, from the heart, thank you very much. And keep up the great work. I really enjoy your programs. And of course, all those world records that you currently hold as well. What a bloke. Absolutely phenomenal. So I think, actually, one last thing, actually. Next week, what am I going to be doing? Well, I've sort of hinted on this already. I am basically at home, working from home for the next week to 2 weeks. We've got, once we get to Easter, the week before Easter, the week after Easter, and the following week from that, we've got 4-day weeks. We've got loads of bank holidays all about to hit as well. So, we should definitely have time to get the fence finished as well during that time, which would be really good to get that done. But for this next week, it's just admin work. I'm going to be sat in front of a screen for hours and hours on end, answering emails, obviously covering the phone, and probably doing some other admin work as well. Can't elaborate too much, but I have a lot to get done and a lot to catch up on. So I'll be very busy doing that. Probably quite grumpy, unfortunately, because I don't like doing admin work. I'd much rather be out in the field and traveling around New Zealand helping people out. But it's a work balance. You've got to get it right. And Andy, don't do so many kilometers. I know. I need to cut back. Okay, crew, thank you again, all of you, those through Facebook and on the live stream, and any other way that you've done this that I'm not aware of yet. Thank you very much for all the birthday wishes. 50 years old, it's a big milestone for me. Never really thought I would get this far. Very pleased that I have, and I hope I get a lot further yet. So this channel wants to keep going for a lot longer. I've got so many plans, and they just keep getting put off because I just don't have the time to do stuff. But we'll get there in the end. So from me to you, thank you very much. Thanks for all your support with the channel over the years. I think we're about 6-7 years in now. I forget, to be honest. It's just an ongoing thing, isn't it? Stay safe, and I'll see you next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Cheers, crew. Over and out.